Hello and welcome to another What I Spend in a Week. This is going to cover the last week in May, and we haven't started off very well if we're trying to keep our spending low. So I've been recording these videos to help keep me accountable on our low spend challenge and just keep me motivated to be more conscious of my spending every single day. So if you're new here, we are a family of 3. My husband and I both work full-time, and we have a 1.5-year-old daughter. And our goal is to pay off debt and save for retirement and get our monthly expenses down so that in the near future I can retire or be a stay-at-home mom, and my husband's salary will be able to support us. But in order to do that, we need to reduce our monthly expenses by paying off some of our debts. We currently have about $500,000 in debt. Most of that is our mortgage, but we still have 2 other debts that we're working on paying off. One of those is my retirement account loan, and the other one is my husband's student loans, and together that's about $70,000. So hopefully within a year or 2 we'll be able to pay down those. We're planning on not paying off the student loans completely just because some of them have a very, very low interest rate, but we will be hopefully paying off my retirement account loan within a year. So in order to do that, we are being very conscious of our spending so that we can focus all of our extra money towards paying down those debts. We made some purchases yesterday in one of our biggest problem areas, and that is groceries. Today is Sunday, May 25th, and we also did some more spending today. But yesterday was the bulk of it, and that was because I purchased the CSA for the summer season. So if you don't know what a CSA is, it is Community Supported Agriculture, which means at the beginning of the farming season, we pay upfront for vegetables that we should receive throughout the rest of the season. So the CSA that I am participating in goes for 20 weeks over the summer, and we should be getting a variety of about 7 vegetables and fruits. Typically it's about 2 fruits and the rest are vegetables, and I'm not sure exactly how much the weight of those things are, but it's pretty substantial. I usually fill up 2 or 3 reusable shopping bags, which are much larger than a plastic shopping bag or a paper shopping bag. So we get quite a bit of vegetables, and it's going to work out to be about $40 a week for all of these vegetables. And I will probably record exactly what I get every week so you all can tell me if you think it's worth it. But these vegetables are organic, they're local, and they're just picked at the peak, so they're always the best tasting. We've done this CSA a few times. We didn't do it last year, but this year I've just been so excited to do it, especially with our garden not producing very well last year, and so we kind of gave up on that, at least until we can battle the wildlife a little bit better. But the CSA starts in 2 weeks or a week and a half. And by the time you see this, it'll be starting in 3 days. I think it's June 3rd is when it starts. And so we had to make this purchase before the end of May, which kind of really blew our grocery budget for the month. So let's get into the numbers. For 20 weeks of 7 varieties of vegetables and fruits, which I want to say is probably going to be around more than 20 pounds of vegetables, but I'll weigh it when we start getting them in. But it was $980, which is quite a bit. But that breaks down to be a little bit less than $40 a week, which I think is reasonable for organic vegetables. And Honestly, if we were to go to a farmer's market and get the same stuff, it would cost significantly more. Now, some people don't like the CSA for the reason that it's like my favorite way of buying vegetables is because with this CSA, you don't get to choose your vegetables and they just tell you what you're going to get. They do offer swapping out of vegetables. I think they let you do one swap, but I really like having the surprise of what we're going to get, and it helps me be really creative with what we're cooking for the week. I really like that. Sometimes we get things that we don't love a lot, but overall we get things that we like a lot. And so that is pretty expensive, but I think over the course of the summer it's going to save us on our weekly grocery bills. So it sounds like a lot up front, but all of our meals over the summer will focus really on these CSA vegetables that we get that week. And it allows us to get a few more fruits in our diet. I typically don't buy a lot of fruit just because it is so expensive. I get frozen fruit for my daughter to put in her oatmeal and pancakes and stuff, but I and my husband really don't eat very much fruit just because of the cost of it. We do eat a lot of vegetables, but mostly it's like the cheaper vegetables. So with the CSA, it's going to give us an opportunity to eat more vegetables, more fruits, and I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so that was an online purchase, and after we got that out of the way on Saturday morning, we went out grocery shopping for things that we needed for this week, and we went to our local organic grocery store and we spent a total of $72.93, and I have the receipt here to tell you everything that we bought for that amount, and it's pretty high, but we got 2 pounds of bulk pasta, we got some fennel seed. The most expensive thing we bought was a jar of maple syrup. We got 32 ounces, and that was $17. But that will last us probably an entire year. We use maple syrup to sweeten a lot of things, not just for like pancakes. We got some artichoke hearts in a jar because of what my husband's making me for lunches this week. We got some soy sauce, which we were out of. Got a snack for our daughter. It's not something we typically buy, but it was on sale. It was $1.50 off. So they were like veggie chips. I typically don't buy her snacks, but she's going to be starting at a new daycare, and they provide a lot of the snacks, but she's not going to be able to eat all of them because some of them contain dairy, and she doesn't eat dairy. So it'll be good for her to have these snacks if she needs to provide her own. And then we bought wheat germ, which I'm going to be adding to my oatmeal because it's supposed to be really good for you. We bought our daughter a new toothbrush because she's going to need that for daycare. Strawberries were on sale, so as I said, I don't usually buy fruit, but strawberries were on sale. They were $2 off, so I got my daughter a pound of strawberries, organic strawberries, for $4. I bought a cabbage and a carrot for coleslaw, which we're making for Memorial Day. And then we got a yellow onion, some garlic, some white mushrooms, and some shiitake mushrooms, which we're going to be putting in the baked beans that we're making for Memorial Day. And then bananas and potatoes. So in total, that was $72.93. All of the stuff was organic, so some things are kind of expensive, but I don't think that was too bad for the amount of stuff that we got. And after that, we ran to Trader Joe's. We were specifically looking for some jackfruit, but apparently that is discontinued. So instead at Trader Joe's, we stocked up on sliced olives, which I like to put when we have nachos, and more artichoke hearts, just because theirs were cheaper than the ones that we had got at the organic grocery store. And so then we have them on hand for next time my husband wants to make like a spinach artichoke dip type thing. And then we bought something else. I don't remember. Oh, I think my husband, no. We definitely had to buy something else because we spent $21.61, and 4 cans of things was not that expensive. But I don't remember what else we got at Trader Joe's. Yeah, so that was all of our spending yesterday. And then earlier today, my husband ran out to Lidl because we needed soy milk for our daughter. And so he bought soy milk. He bought all of the tofu that they had, which was only 4 blocks because Lidl is the cheapest place to buy tofu. He was supposed to buy us more digestive biscuits, but he forgot. Instead, he bought some barbecue sauce. So the total for that was $13.02. So over this weekend, we spent $1,087.56 on groceries, which is pretty crazy. It's much more than we spend on any single bulk order, but that CSA will provide us with vegetables all summer long, which I'm really excited about. And that should hopefully cut down on our grocery spending throughout the rest of the summer, at least. We are going to need to make another bulk purchase soon because we're running out of things like chickpeas and flaxseed, but that'll be in the June spending. Those bulk shipments from Azure Standard only come like once a month, so we've been filling up our cart, and I think the closeout for that is like mid June, so that won't come until later in June. So we have to make the bulk stuff that we have last until for the next like 3 weeks or something. But we should be able to. But that's everything for my spending so far this weekend. Hope you all are having a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it's Wednesday. Very rainy. It's been raining since I think yesterday afternoon. But I haven't had to make any updates because we surprisingly haven't spent anything. I guess we stocked up pretty well over the weekend on all our groceries and have had no reason to really run out and grab anything else, so that's a bonus. We've been getting a little bit better at meal planning, at least for this week. So the updates for today are that I got paid, and even though this isn't my 3 paycheck month, it's technically my 3 paycheck month because the first paycheck, it hit in April, but it was supposed to be for May. And so the way my workplace works is only twice a month do they take deductions for like the DCFSA, the FSA, health insurance if you have it, life insurance, all of those deductions. They only take them twice a month. So in the months that there's technically 3 paychecks for that month, they don't take that deduction. And so my paycheck was a little bit higher because they didn't take out the DCFSA or the life insurance, which I usually pay with my paychecks. But my taxes were a bit higher this month because of that. But it's kind of a good window into if I want to switch my retirement contributions to Roth contributions, how much more I'm going to be paying in taxes. So I have a bit of a breakdown of that. And I can figure that out because the amount that I contribute to the DCFSA on the paychecks that it's taken out is almost exactly the same amount that I contribute to my 403B, which is my retirement account. I think it's like a difference between like 208 and 209. So it's very close. And so the DCFSA is pre-tax. And right now I'm contributing to my retirement pre-tax. And so if I contribute to my retirement post-tax, the Roth 403B option, then I'll be paying more in taxes. And so my paycheck this week, without the DCFSA and life insurance coming out and with the higher tax amount, was $3,299.23, which is an increase of $129.29 from my normal paychecks, which means I'm paying an extra $82.51 in taxes. And so if I am contributing post-tax on my retirement account, maybe later in the year, then I can expect my take-home pay, instead of being the normal $3,169, $3,170, it's going to be more like 2,990, I guess, 2,985, which isn't that big of a deal. I think we can swing that extra $83 or $160 a month in decreased paycheck because I'm paying more in taxes. And the reason why I want to switch to the Roth IRA is just so that I have more options in retirement. I can't withdraw from the Roth 403b. I called it an IRA, but the Roth 403b early. I do have the option of rolling it out of the plan whenever I want to, but it requires a lot of paperwork. It's not something I can do automatically, but I can roll over whatever I want out of the Roth option into a Roth IRA. And I think it has like a 5-year waiting period, at least for the conversions. I don't know if the actual contributions to the 403b, if I can actually pull those out. I'll have to look back into that. I don't remember. I do try to read up on all of the information about our retirement plan, and I'm part of the financial literacy club at my workplace, where we talk a lot about our retirement plan and stuff. I want more money in the Roth option just for flexibility in retirement, like tax flexibility. If I want to reduce my taxable income in retirement, then I should be able to do that if I pull from a Roth 403b instead of the traditional. So that's kind of the plan. Right now I have about, I think, 70 or 75% in traditional, so that's taxable. And then it's about 25 or 30% in the Roth, which isn't taxable. I want to make it, I think, a little bit closer to 50-50, although that might not happen exactly. But we'll see how things go over the next couple of months and maybe even years. But that was my income for today, and the only spending that we've had, I think, is yesterday for Transfer Tuesday. We contributed to our daughter's 529, and that was withdrawn today. That was $415 contributed to her investment account. We should hit a total of $10,000 invested by the end of this year, which I think is a pretty substantial amount. That would pay for at least one semester at a state school, at least what the rates are right now. But hopefully it'll grow over the course of 16, 17 years. So we'll see. But I also want to keep contributing to that at least for a couple more years if we can. But if we can't, that'll be okay, because at least she has a better start than I did. So I'm happy about that. Happy about being able to give that to her. But yeah, I think that's it for my update today. I guess there probably won't be an update until my husband's paycheck comes in on Friday, but we'll see if we do any spending tomorrow. Hello, it's Thursday. I have a quick update for today, a little bit of a sneak preview for Transfer Tuesday. I had an Acorns Roundup come out today, and that was $5.84 transferred from my checking account to my after-tax brokerage account. But that's everything. Just thought I'd pop on here for that little update. Hello, it's Friday, another cloudy, gray day. But my husband got paid today. That was $2,449.81 that hit our joint account. And then my Acorns subscription came out today as well. I guess it's the second to last day of the month. So they pulled it out early because tomorrow's a weekend. So that was just $1. And that was our only spending today. Today is my daughter's last day at her current daycare. it's a little bit sad just because I know she likes all of her friends there. She has a good time. And it'll be quite the change next week, but hopefully it goes well. We'll see. I was hoping that we would get our interest payments today for our savings accounts and stuff, just because tomorrow is Saturday, the last day of the month, is when we usually get our interest payments. But they haven't hit yet. Maybe they'll be there tomorrow morning, and I'll do one final update. It's going to be cutting it a bit close with being able to get this edited and out on Sunday. So hopefully we won't do any spending tomorrow, although we still need to pick up some things for her starting on daycare on Monday. They need things like the emergency kit and slippers, which are things that we don't have for her. And we've been looking at the thrift store the past couple of times that we went and haven't been able to find any. We had enough trouble just finding her regular shoes. So we're going to go thrifting one more time this weekend. Well, maybe Saturday and Sunday, depending on what we find on Saturday. So hopefully we won't spend too much. But maybe if we can't find it, we may have to run to Target or something, which I think we still have gift cards for from our baby registry. So a year and a half ago, and we haven't even spent our gift cards that we got from Target because we haven't really needed to buy anything. I think some of the things that we bought were new nipple sizes when she was drinking out of her bottle and needed a faster flow when she got older. And I think pacifiers, even though she never uses her pacifiers, but it's like very few things that we've had to buy for her that we either didn't get in the registry. And we had those gift cards and we didn't just like blow them on useless stuff. So we've been saving them for absolute needs, which this weekend it might be that, because she's not allowed to start unless she has her emergency kit packed and all of the things required for a daily basis. So that is everything. That's our plans for the weekend, and that's all of our spending for today. I guess I'll probably pop on here tomorrow if we get our interest payment, just to update on that and close this out. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. It's Saturday, May 31st, and we did get our interest payment to come in overnight, I guess, and that came to a total of $42.64, and that's a combination of our high yield savings account and our checking account. So I'm recording this in the morning, so we haven't actually had a chance to go out shopping yet, so I'm not going to put those in this video, even though we'll be spending for this week. So if you want to see what that amounts to, it will be in my May budget recap. It should be coming out Friday. And I don't know if you noticed, we didn't have a daycare expense this week, and that's because I had a credit on my account for, I think, 4 days, which was what we had left of May because of the holiday. So I think overall we only spent $900 on daycare this month, but our next month's daycare is going to be a lot more expensive. We already received the bill for that. It's not due until, I think, the 12th, but I didn't realize that the billing cycle for the new daycare is like the middle of the month to the middle of the month, so we have to pay like the first half of June, and then we're going to have to pay from mid-June to mid-July in advance. So it's going to be like a month and a half of daycare all at the beginning of June. So we're going to be a little over budget on our daycare expenses, but I was mostly just estimating that for June anyway because I wasn't quite sure. But I think that's all of our spending so far for May. This week we brought in a lot more income than we did last week because of the paychecks. It was almost about $5,800, and our spending was just over $1,500 so far. So I think that's really good for the month. We definitely have a lot that can go to the savings, but I will also go over that in my budget closeout because we didn't pay any extra towards debt this month. Even though that was our original plan, I think we are just going to keep everything in savings for a little while as we see how the rest of the summer shakes out with some changes that are coming starting in July. But that's everything for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing more of my family's journey as we work towards paying off debt and saving and investing, trying to lower our expenses so that we can become a single income family, hopefully in the near future, then I would love to have you subscribe. Thank you for being here.